shrill middle-class voices. Check.
Capitalism is incapable of solving the problems it's created. Left to their own devices, bosses will continue to extract profits, exploit workers, lobby governments to halt change, and argue that our demands are radical, unreasonable, unworkable.
The word comrade used more times than I've had hot dinners. Check.
Comrades of Labour Conference. Comrades.
Warnings of too many white men putting their hands up to ask questions. Check.
The people putting their hands up do not reflect the diversity of the people in this hall, and that is very clear to me. I am afraid, and I'm not speaking from a position of particular strength here, there are too many white men putting their hands up. I am not anti-white men. Some of my favourite people, my dad's a white man. But I do not want white men to exclusively dominate this.
And I'm conscious we haven't had any black, Asian, minority, ethnic speakers yet, so is there anybody?
That's right, folks, we've checked all three. It can only be one thing. Labour Party conference. And my God, what a conference it's been. You had Mark Ferguson, a member of Labour's National Executive Committee, telling the Labour Party faithful gathered in Brighton that there were too many white blokes asking questions. This is called at a time, of course, when the only thing to come out of Labour Party conference has been Angela Rayner calling people scum, has been Keir Starmer saying that women with cervixes, you cannot really say that because it might be transphobic, and a whole host of other crap, meaningless crap. And this, I think, is important to put into context of, you had, under William Hague's Conservative Party, back in, the early 2000s, late 90s, they actually managed to close the gap of Poland during the fuel crisis that happened in, I think it was 2000, where you had people unable to fill up the car. And similar scenes to what you've seen over recent days, and where people can't get their weekly shop. And after a landslide victory, William Hague was able to close that gap. Of course, it widened again, but he was still able to close that gap. So that says to me that Sir Keir Starmer has sort of got an unfrozen moment right now where there's all this chaos kicking off in the country and Boris Johnson looks like he doesn't know his bum from his elbow. And despite all of these troubles, as I say, the only stories widely reported have been Angela Rayner calling the Tory scum and questioning if women have a cervix. The only thing Sir Keir Starmer has managed to do is win an internal battle over Labour Party leadership election rule changes. And guess what, folks? People don't give a toss about this, right? They care about being able to put food on the table. They care about being able to heat their homes. They care about being able to put petrol in their bloody car, right? I think many people out there will be wondering what on earth Labour are doing at a time when you've got all of these problems going on in the background. You've got the fuel crisis, you've got energy bills going up, you've got inflation advancing higher, which means higher food costs and all the rest of it. Tax rises are coming thanks to the Tories putting them up. All of this, I think, should mean that the Labour Party are bloody romping it home. As much as I dislike that sort of outcome, instead, it's arguing with itself about vaginas and who owns a cervix. I've never talked about fanny so much in my life, I tell you that much. And we all come away asking ourselves if men are still the owners of prostates, instead of focusing on cost of living crises and all the rest of it. And Boris Johnson, as I say, is all over the shop. This is a perfect opportunity for Labour. But again, the backdrop where they should be making easy gains, where electorally it should be like taking candy from a baby. Instead, you've got Angela Rayner throwing the word scum around and not being able, especially nice about the Tories. The people they need to win back, if they hope to do so, are communities like this one in County Durham, where you need to bring on these new Tory voters, one-time proud Labour voters, back into the fold. And I'm not sure accusing Tories of being homophobic or whatever Islamophobia it was that Angela Rayner attached to them is going to win these voters back. I reckon you've got better odds on predicting the next Katie Price wedding than you do the next Labour government. I tell you that much for free. But do you remember, it used to be the Conservative Party that seemed to be unable to shake off that label of nasty party. Well, the Labour Party, for all the guff it talks about a kinder, gentler politics and society, seems to be doing all it can to stir up divisions and resentments. Watch this utterly pathetic display by the woman who wants to be Chancellor of the Exchequer of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland.
I wonder if I can start, and we've talked about many things down the years, Rachel Reeves, but I have to put it to you, the same question that was put to the party leader. Is it transphobic to say only women have a cervix?
At this conference, I want to speak about issues that affect people, whatever their gender and
we will
whatever
get to those,
their
I assure
sexuality.
you. But is it transphobic, yes or no?
Look, is it transphobic? Look, I don't even know how to start answering these questions.
The last time I heard a stammer that bad, it was Gareth Gates during Pop Idol. Do you remember that? I mean, I cannot get away from the fact, the argument, that they are denying biological truth and fact in pursuit of looking woke and trendy to those on Twitter. Well, guess what, folks? That's not going to win your votes up in places like this. It's not going to win you back the so-called red wall. It's not going to win you new voters. What that's going to do is cement your current base in university cities and places like them. It's not going to win you votes in your former heartlands. You're talking to yourself, talking about pronouns and all these other things. We don't give a damn. We want to talk about what your alternative is for the economy. We want to talk about what you're putting forward to help our kids at school. What are we going to do after we come out of this pandemic fully, as we're starting to do, hopefully, thanks be to God? There are so many things. The green agenda. How are you going to ensure that you don't sacrifice working class people on the altar of the green? We're already seeing fuel bills going up. That's only going to get worse. What's the Labour alternative? Because right now it's a Greens arms race to see who can outcompete, outspend each other on green crap, frankly. It gets me actually quite angry, so I won't go down that road. But basically, this, folks, was a perfect opportunity for Labour. And once again, they've squandered it. You know, I mentioned earlier that Labour were talking about whether women or not have got a cervix or not, rather. I guess we shouldn't be surprised, folks. After all, the Labour Party have been fannying about for years now. Reasoned relies upon grassroots donations from people like yourself that want us to continue producing our high quality, free thinking content. So please do consider clicking the link and donating, no matter how big, no matter how small, because it really does ensure that we can keep on keeping on.